Well, hi there and welcome to a new week. Yesterday we were able to share our first live service with people at church in many weeks, and it was great. If you'd like to be there next Sunday, please go to our website and register, or if you can't do that, call Carolyn during office hours, 10 to 3 Tuesday to Friday, and she'll make sure that you get in there for next Sunday. Hope you can be there. Well, we're thinking about what it is to be an authentic Christian, and particularly today, authenticity and spirituality. And I'd encourage you to read 1 Corinthians 9, 24 to 27. To be authentic in our spirituality requires discipline. And discipline is a bit like medicine. It does us good, but doesn't always taste that nice. Discipline can help you achieve your goal, which is the great thing about discipline. Well, we reach a place of authenticity when we bring our life in tune with Jesus. We allow Him to guide our thinking. Then our behaviour will be filled with forgiveness and love for our enemies and obedience to God. The Spirit wants to influence our thinking and guide our behaviour, but we are often more influenced by the media than we are by the Spirit of God. Romans chapter 12 tells us that we need to renew our minds. And it's very clear that we need to renew our minds from the influence of this world and of worldliness. But the question that we cannot escape is how successfully we're having our minds renewed and our lives brought in tune with Jesus. This is the discipline that we need. When it comes to spiritual growth, there are some things that God does, but there are also some things that we need to do for ourselves. There's a story about a man he was a new Christian. He was having trouble having a regular quiet time. And he spoke to George Mueller. Remember what George Mueller? He was a great spiritual man. He ran several orphanages, and he had a principle that he would not ask people for money, but he would pray, and God miraculously supplied the needs for those orphanages. Well, he said to Mueller, would you pray that I can get out of bed in the morning and have my quiet time? Indeed I will not, replied Mueller. The man was a bit taken back, and after a pause Mueller said, tell you what I will do. If you get one foot on the floor, I'll pray that you get the other foot out. Could our spirituality be described as fragile and weak? Well, David Watson writes, and this is David Watson, the English clergyman, not David Watson, the member of Dubbo Baptist Church. He says there's a sad decline in true spirituality among the majority of Western Christians. We've neglected our prayer life. We've stopped listening to God. We've been caught by the covetous spirit of our Western society and worshipped the false god of materialism. We've forgotten how to be still before God and how to meditate, trapped as we are in the vortex of modern life. We've lost our sense of direction, and confused and bewildered, we know little of the exuberant joy of celebration enjoyed by God's people down the centuries, even in tough and depressing situations. Bill Hybels tells in his book of a rush to work one morning, tuning the radio to get the latest economic reports, trying to avoid the talkative lady in the shop so he could save some time. He evaluated the cleaner's work without regard to the cleaner as a person. And as he rushed through his tasks and the events of the day, he thought for a moment that he'd not actually once paused during the day to see the world through godly eyes. Is that true of us, that in our rush and our bustle, we may not see the world through godly eyes? And perhaps the deeper question is, what do we do to make sure that we're able to allow these worldly eyes to have a godly glimpse of things? What do you do to clean out the worldly contaminants that find their way inside our mind? What do you do to be quiet and hear the still small voice of God? What do you do to maximise the influence of the Holy Spirit in our life? Surveys indicate that among evangelical Christians, that only a minority read their Bible every day. In addition, most people say that they're dissatisfied with their prayer life. This is the test of our authenticity, isn't it? We all say that it's essential to spend time in prayer and Bible reading, but how many of us actually do it? We read of Jesus in Mark 1:35, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. That discipline is necessary for Jesus, so how much more is it necessary for us? To build an authentic relationship with Jesus, we must declare war against whatever worldly entanglements keep us from a daily fellowship with him. This is what we must do. God bless you, and bye for now.